Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josh Shapiro. I'm honored to serve as Pennsylvania's Attorney General and just so privileged to be here today with Governor Tom Wolf on the banks of the Schuylkill River here in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. I'm also pleased to be joined by two members of my team, Steve Sanacero, the Chief Deputy Attorney General for Environmental Protection, and Mike Fisher, our Chief Deputy Attorney General for Impact Litigation, for this very important announcement. Like many of us remember pictures of smog engulfing Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and other cities in the 1970s. And since then, we have made real progress when it comes to combating this problem. I think what's clear is that we have not solved the problem just yet, and that more work needs to be done. In fact, there were 97 days of elevated pollution levels here in Philadelphia back in 2015. That was the second highest number in the northeastern section of the United States. 728 people in Pennsylvania, 728 Pennsylvanians suffer an early death because of high levels of smog. That's the second highest number in the entire country after only the state of California. Over 6.1 million Pennsylvanians, representing about half of our population, and 115 million Americans, over a third of our country, breathe harmful levels of smog. This is unacceptable. I believe it is also unconstitutional, as Pennsylvanians have a right under Article 1, Section 27 of the Pennsylvania State Constitution. They have a right to clean air and pure water. Back in October of 2015, EPA tightened its acceptable ground ozone, or smog, levels from 75 parts per billion to 70 parts per billion. It did so in light of data that proved that the old standard left too many Americans at risk. To implement these new standards under the Clean Air Act, the state, combined with the EPA, had to work together to identify areas of the country where smog levels are too high so that they could take action to remedy this. The states did their part. And in fact, last fall, Governor Tom Wolf and his administration and others provided the EPA with detailed reports designating those non-attainment areas or places where smog levels are too high. And I commend the governor for his leadership in that area and the work done at his Department of Environmental Protection. Look, I believe that we can meet these standards, protect public health, and ensure that industry thrives in Pennsylvania. We can do all three of these things as the governor has outlined. But the EPA, unfortunately, is trying to delay this final designation, this final ability for states and the federal government to work together to present our citizens. In fact, the EPA now claims it needs more information, and that is the reason why they want to delay. But let me be very clear. There is no basis for that claim. And meanwhile, Pennsylvanians suffer. And I believe their constitutional rights are being threatened. That is why today I'm here in Philadelphia together with Governor Wolf to announce that Pennsylvania has filed a lawsuit together with 14 other states to force the EPA to do its job and protect Pennsylvanians, protect Americans without any further delay. This is an effort led by 14 states made up of a bipartisan group of governors along with attorneys general. Specifically, here's what we are asking: that the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit stop this delay by the EPA because it is illegal and it is arbitrary. Look, the EPA is claiming that it needs more time because it doesn't have enough information. But as I said earlier, Pennsylvania and the other states have given the EPA all of the information that they requested. In fact, the reason why they're delaying it is because I believe the administrator of the EPA wants to kill this effort. And we will not stand idly by and let him do that. Look, I recognize the Trump administration may still be new at this, but there are professionals and scientists who have reviewed this information and reviewed the data and have determined that this rule should go into effect. And while there is a new administration in Washington, let me be very clear. The science hasn't changed and the data hasn't changed. And it's time for this rule to be implemented. Any delay, I believe, is unwarranted, and the other attorneys general believe is unwarranted. That's why we took this action. We further believe that any delay is dangerous to the citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In the lawsuit that we filed today, we will ask the D.C. Circuit Court to force the EPA to implement this much-needed rule that will protect our public health and our environment. Look, as I said when I began, if you stood here in the 1970s, Philadelphia on a warm day like today may be capped with a dome of smog. Today it is not. It's a beautiful day here in Philadelphia. We have made important progress, which is why we have to keep going forward and not move backwards. And that is why I'm taking legal action today on behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, we are so proud in the Commonwealth to have a partner in this effort like Governor Wolf. Governor Wolf has been a staunch defender of environmental rights and the protection of the citizens here in the Commonwealth. He worked with the DEP, his DEP, in conjunction with the request of information from the EPA at the federal level to provide them with all the necessary information. Governor Wolf provided that, and I know Governor Wolf wants to see these rules go into effect in order to help protect the citizens of our Commonwealth. He's been a tremendous environmental leader here in Pennsylvania and across the country. He's been a terrific partner of the Office of Attorney General in our efforts to protect the citizens of the Commonwealth. And it's my pleasure to introduce the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Governor Tom Wolf.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want to give a shout out to Attorney General Josh Shapiro. Josh, it's my tie. Attorney General Shapiro has done a phenomenal job in so many areas, but especially in the area of environmental protection. And I am proud to stand with him in this effort, suing the EPA. So I want to thank you for your good work, and thank you for being such a strong advocate for the rights of Pennsylvanians. So today I am joining Attorney General Shapiro, as well as he said, 14 other states in protesting the EPA's decision to delay the implementation of common sense environmental standards that will benefit the health of millions of Americans and save billions of dollars annually. The Trump administration's decision to delay the implementation of the new ozone standards will have, as the Attorney General has said, serious effects on the economies of our states, on the health and well-being of our citizens and of our children. Ozone, which, as he said, is the main ingredient in smog, can be seriously harmful to people's health and well-being, leads to decreased lung function, and intensifies the symptoms of asthma and a number of other respiratory conditions. What is gravely concerning is that children who suffer from asthma and respiratory illnesses are particularly vulnerable to elevated ozone levels. The ozone standard that the EPA is delaying would have serious positive health benefits for our children. In other words, if the delay didn't happen, we could have real benefits. In fact, by the EPA's own estimate, the new ozone standard that they're now delaying would result in 230,000 fewer asthma attacks in children, 160,000 fewer missed school days. And more broadly, the EPA has said that the ozone standard would result in yearly public health benefits of up to $4.5 billion. It would also prevent between 300 to 600 premature deaths, 28,000 workdays, and over 600 emergency room visits. The effects of ozone are sobering, particularly when considering the impacts pollution have on our children. and the effects of inaction are just inexcusable. This 1 year delay is wrong. Already this summer, and we're only in the first day of August. Already this summer, the Department of Environmental Protection, the DEP, has had to issue a number of code red and code orange alerts, warning people of elevated levels of ozone in the atmosphere. Today's a nice day, but just here in southeastern Pennsylvania, we regularly rank among the highest risk areas in the entire country. We need the EPA to do its job, get to work to protect our children and our citizens from the harmful pollutants, stop delaying implementing this scientifically based environmental standard. The proposed ozone standard would significantly reduce the prevalence of pollutants right here in Pennsylvania, allowing our citizens to breathe easier and reducing the risk of harmful disease. 1 year delay is going to lead our citizens and our children to face significant increase in risk of respiratory disease. So it's time for the EPA to stop being a roadblock under this new administration to the adoption of these reasonable standards based on the most up-to-date science available, rules that will protect our children from the damaging results of ozone. It's time for the EPA. It's time for the Trump administration to establish national ambient air quality standards for the good of our citizens, the good of our businesses, for the good of our economy, and do the job set out for them under the Clean Air Act. Ozone and air pollution are serious public health threats, and we cannot continue to kick the can down the road, deciding to act another day while our citizens are suffering from the effects of these pollutants right now, today. So I am proud to join in this action with the Attorney General to compel the EPA to act on behalf of millions of Americans, to do the job they are legally required to do, and to stop deferring their responsibility to ensure that all Americans can enjoy their right, our right, to clean air and a clean environment. Thank you very much, and Josh, thank you very much for what you're doing.
Thank you, Governor.